The plight of homeless people there has certainly come under sharp focus over the past few months, weeks, and possibly years. In fact, homeless people in Cape Town are now self-isolating in community chest offices in the city centre after some of them, of course, tested positive for COVID-19. Our very own Yazeed Kamaldien is on the story. He's able to join us now live to give us a sense of how this is all going. Yazeed, thanks very much for your time. Always great chatting to you. Perhaps we should start by taking a step back and reflecting on the plight of the homeless people so far. Give us a situation of what their environment is looking like at the moment now.
Good morning. Yes, it's still dark in Cape Town and it's still a bit chilly early morning. Now, in Strandfontein, the city of Cape Town had, under lockdown regulations 5, set up what it called a shelter for the homeless people. When lockdown regulations 4 kicked in, the shelter had to be dismantled. Homeless people were moved to other shelters and some chose to move back to the streets, while others wanted the city to provide for them a safe space in Kamaldien. Now, Kamaldien is the city of Cape Town's shelter, which is in the city centre. So homeless people were then moved from Strandfontein to the city centre, and they had said that they had been exposed to someone with COVID-19. Now, what happened is the city put some people into quarantine and others were left to stay on the street while waiting for the city to complete its shelter, which has still not been completed. The story now is that more homeless people have tested positive for COVID-19, and I'm going to interview one of the persons among them who is self-isolating. His name is Carlos Mesquita. Carlos, good morning and welcome to Newzroom Africa.
Hi, good morning.
Carlos, what is happening? Carlos, what is happening? So a number of homeless people are staying in this building behind us. It's the Community Chest building in Bree Street. Tell us what's happening.
Okay, the story is, and I'm not self-isolating, I'm self-quarantining. The isolation is for the 2 individuals that tested positive. The Community Chest decided, as you well know, we requested from the city to test the 178 individuals that came from our tent, which was the last tent to leave Strandfontein, where there had been a positive case. The city decided to test only 31 individuals, which was by court order, which included the people that had the closest contact with this individual that had tested positive, which included myself. Unfortunately, when the buses bussed us out of Strandfontein, there was absolutely no control by the city of Cape Town officials, and the wrong people got on the wrong buses. So we ended up on the street. Some of the people that weren't meant to be isolated and tested got into the bus and went to what we thought was going to be the testing facility, the isolating facility in Melkbosstrand. So we ended up under Kamaldien Bridge, and from there the Community Chest CEO and a number of other individuals from the Human Rights Commission got to know us. Carlos,
I just want to understand the current situation. Thank you for the background information. But the current situation is that you say you are self-isolating. And what is the concern that the homeless people have now? Why are you all in this building?
Well, you know, when we got tested on, the results came through on Saturday. The 2 individuals that tested positive were immediately isolated in other parts of this building, waiting for provincial transportation to Lagoon Beach Hotel, where they are currently in isolation. There's a 3rd person whose test was inconclusive. He too went into isolation at Lagoon Beach. The rest of us have gone into self-quarantine, not isolation, and waiting the period that where we get monitored every day. Well, we're getting monitored every 6 hours with your thermometer, and then being asked certain questions in order to see whether there are any signs.
So did you have a test, and what was your results for COVID-19?
The test was negative, but unfortunately due to the closeness of the population, both at Kamaldien and here, we've had to self-quarantine now.
My last question is around the Kamaldien safe space that the city of Cape Town has for homeless people. Do the people staying in this building want to go to that site, and when are you meant to go there?
The intention was, and the initial promise by the city was, that there was going to be 250 spaces there for the individuals that are in this building. Subsequent to that, when we went to court with them, a court order was issued for the 96 spaces which the city said was able to create there. They weren't able to create the full 200 at that point in time. And the court order instructed the city to have the space ready on the 31st of May, and that the people to move in there would be the people mentioned in the court order, which are the people in this building. Unfortunately, as you all know, the city has not been in contact with us. They have not opened the safe space, and we are currently at the communities.
Are there any people who are choosing to go back to the street, though?
Well, the people that are in the building are obviously not choosing to go back into the street. We have never said that the choice was the street. We all chose Kulenburg as an option. We've told the city that from the beginning. Kulenburg wasn't ready, and so we went onto the street as such, where they dumped us, because we weren't prepared to go to other shelters, which wasn't the agreement initially.
My last question, just to confirm, how many homeless persons are currently staying in the community chest building?
151.
Thank you. That there was Carlos Mesquita. He's among 151 homeless people who are staying indoors for the fears of COVID-19 spreading. Some of them have tested positive for the virus.
Yeah, that's right. So before we let you go, Yazeed, you know, Western Cape has been, I guess, at the forefront really of some concerns around COVID-19. Health Minister Zweli Mkhize giving the province a visit over the past 2 days. But we've also seen some unions still raising concerns around the issue at Tygerberg Hospital, where we've known a few healthcare workers had previously tested positive. Take us through what some of those concerns are and whether the health minister's visit was able to quell some of them in any way.
So, Health Minister Zweli Mkhize visited a number of temporary hospitals being set up with extra beds in preparation for the peak of the COVID-19 here in the Western Cape. He said that the facilities are good, but that more should be done to reach people who are positive, because of course they are carrying the virus and that is how it's spreading. Now, in terms of the unions, I had spoken previously to Emilia Molloy. She's the secretary of NEHAHU, a health workers union here in the Western Cape, and she said that there was not enough personal protective equipment available at Tygerberg Hospital, and she said their lives were actually placed at risk. She's a nurse at that hospital as well. So yesterday, the Western Cape Premier Alan Winde had said that they are going to change their testing strategy. They are going to test what they see or define as the most vulnerable people, and that would include anyone over 55 who is showing signs of COVID-19, anyone with comorbidities or underlying issues such as diabetes and other threatening illnesses who show signs of COVID-19, persons who live in old age homes who show signs of COVID-19. They want to target people who are more vulnerable, they say.
All right, thanks very much for getting us into the picture. No doubt we'll be touching base with you throughout the course of the morning. Yazeed Kamaldien, our reporter, live to us there from Cape Town in the Western Cape.